It says here to perform the indicated operations, and these indicated operations seem to be multiplication, 6x squared times that polynomial, subtraction, and then 4x cubed times that polynomial. And that is what the operations are. However, when we do the multiplications to get rid of the parentheses using the distributive property, it's going to be easier if we think of this as a negative 4x cubed instead of subtraction. Now, how can we get away with that? Which is it, subtraction or is it a negative? Well, you could think of it either way, because remember, anytime you have subtraction, you could rewrite that as plus a negative. So by writing this subtraction as plus a negative, then it's a little more clear that we're going to be distributing a negative 4x cubed through the parentheses. So I'm not suggesting that you even rewrite it this way, but this sort of justifies why it's safe to multiply the negative through the parentheses with the 4x cubed. So let's go through those multiplications. We're going to do this one first. 6x squared times 6x cubed. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. X squared times x cubed. Since we're multiplying and the bases are the same, we add the exponent, so we'll get x to the 5th. And then we take 6x squared times 5x. That's a positive times a positive, which is a positive. 6 times 5 is 30. X squared times x. Remember, there's a little 1 there, so it's x squared times x to the 1st. We add those exponents, we get x cubed. And then we take the 6x squared times a negative 3. It's a positive times a negative, which is negative. 6 times 3 is 18. There are no more x's here, so the x squared just comes on through. All right, now we're going to do the same thing here, except we're going to take negative 4x cubed and distribute it through. So first we have negative 4x cubed times a positive x squared. Well, negative times positive is negative. The coefficient here is just 1, right? So it's really negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4. X cubed times x squared is x to the 5th, just like this one was. And then we take the negative 4x cubed times that last term. Well, this is negative times negative, which is positive. 4 times 2 is 8. X cubed. This doesn't have any x's, right? It's just 2, so the x cubed just comes through. Now we have to collect up our like terms. We'll start with this one, and it's the highest power. We always want to start with the highest power of the exponent, and then the next to the highest, and so on. So let's look at this. 36x to the 5th and negative 4x to the 5th. Those are like terms. Notice I circled the sign with the term. The sign stays with the term. So 36 minus 4 is 32, x to the 5th. When you're adding or subtracting like terms, you just keep the exponent the same, and you just add or subtract the coefficients. The next thing is x cubed. Got a positive 30x cubed and a positive 8x cubed. So 30 plus 8 is a plus 38x cubed. And then there's negative 18x squared. Well, that doesn't have anybody to go with it, so we just bring it down. So this is the simplified version. Now, if you're happy with that, you can bail out of this video, but I'm going to show you another way you can think of it with that original thing, technical term, with this original sign being a subtraction. If you really want to think of that as a subtraction, you could still do this without much difficulty. If that's the case, we're going to be distributing this the same exact way, and it's going to look like this: 36x to the 5th plus 30x cubed minus 18x squared. Subtract, right? Now I'm saying subtraction, but I'm subtracting now the product of 4x cubed times x squared minus 2. 4x cubed times x squared minus 2. So 4x cubed times x squared would be 4x to the 5th. 4x cubed times negative 2 is a negative 8x cubed. Because I didn't multiply the negative sign through, this was a positive 4 times a positive x squared, which is a positive 4x to the fifth. And a positive 4x squared times a negative 2 is a negative 8x cubed. But see, now I've still got this minus in front of the parentheses. So now I'm going to multiply the negative through. And if I multiply the negative through there, I'm going to get 36x to the fifth plus 30x squared, 30x cubed rather, minus 18x squared. Now when that negative goes through, it's a negative 1 going all the way through the parentheses. So it becomes minus 4x to the fifth plus, because a negative times a positive, a negative times a negative times a negative is a positive 8x cubed. Now we just collect those like terms just like we did before. These go together, and these go together, and we get exactly the same answer we got before, 32x to the fifth plus 38x cubed minus 18x squared. So either way you want to think of it, you're going to get the same answer